Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Coming in sundown because today we all know that everybody loves animals. We've all got them, and we'd be devastated at the idea of anything happening to them, right?
My little fur baby.
This has been the case for thousands of years. In fact, some people care about animals so much that they devote their entire life's effort to protecting them. It's from this mission that organizations like PETA, or the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, was born. PETA's focus tends to be on animal testing, factory farming, fur farming, and other types of cruel treatment. Their core principle is the idea that animals do not belong to humans and that they should have their own rights as animals. Animals! You'd think people would be 100% on board with a group that simply wants the world to take better care of animals. But no, PETA has received a massive amount of vitriol from people, animal lovers or not, for their often controversial and chaotic tactics. So today, we're going to talk about all the wild things PETA has done over the years in the pursuit of grabbing the world's attention. We're also going to take a look into their many controversies to decide if they're doing more harm than good to the animal community that they've sworn to protect. So, without further ado, we're talking about PETA.
PETA? PETA?
Yeah, I like PETA.
PETA, I don't know. I just see them. I think they throw paint on people and stuff. I do think there's some stuff like they say that sheep shearing is wrong. Word? Listen, factory farming's lame. Actually, it's more lame. It's pretty gay. Okay? Factory farming sucks. Mistreatment of animals is bad, but also, sorry folks, animals aren't people. Don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. That being said, if you're a vegetarian or vegan and you think you don't believe in killing and eating animals, more power to you. All right, but it is what it is. That's my opinion. It is what it is.
Can your opinion be wrong?
My opinion can be wrong, but also it's just an opinion. So can it be wrong?
Yes.
If it's a subjective thought.
Opinions can be wrong, and yours are wrong.
Damn, man. All right. PETA was created in 1980, led by animal rights advocates Ingrid Newkirk and Alex Pacheco?
Pacheco.
And Alex Pacheco. Ingrid pivoted from pursuing a life as a stockbroker to taking care of animals after finding a box of stray kittens and being revolted by the conditions of their nearby shelter. She started dating Alex, a passionate activist, and together they formed PETA. They also formed this. You should come with me. Also, I'm a rich stockbroker. He's like, Ka-ching! By the following year, they already had their first big victory. Alex went undercover at Silver Springs, Maryland Primate Research Facility, only to take photos of the cruel conditions the monkeys were kept in. They discovered that the monkeys had clusters of nerves severed before being shocked, starved, and restrained for the purpose of neuroplasticity experiments, which is fucked up.
He looks cute.
Tell you what, that photo is haunting. I don't think we can show that photo, but it's a haunting photo. And Alex's photos led to a police raid and a researcher being convicted of animal cruelty charges for the first time in human history. 1981. God damn.
Damn, took that long, huh?
That long. People were like, I don't give a fuck about animals. What followed was a lengthy custody battle over the monkeys that led to massive campaigns from politicians and celebrities urging for them to be safely released. Put them back in the jungle! So they're probably yelling. And then they thought about that for 1 second and they're just like, all right, on to the rest of my life. I'm sure they really gave a fuck what those monkeys did. Story like this put PETA on the map, making the animal rights movement more mainstream, and people liked them. They liked them. They would continue to expose companies for their cruel business practices, from cosmetics to pharmaceuticals to the auto industry using animals in deadly crash tests. They're like, we had no idea what a crash dummy was at the time. It was the ostrich. We put the ostrich in the car to drive it into the wall at 140 miles an hour.
They would actually test humans before crash test dummies.
How are you supposed to know if it's good or not, Nick? Can you blame the people at Toyota for that? They would also sue these companies, often on behalf of the animals themselves. We're bringing Chim Chim as lawyers. They're like, what? If there was an ostrich test dummy, you better believe that ostrich better be in court. You bring those animals to court, or they don't get in the representation they need. I want a full 7-foot tall ostrich with super long neck, a comedically long neck brace on. Look at him, Your Honor. He's just like, Mah! A perfect example would be the famous monkey selfie copyright dispute that started in 2011 after a monkey from Indonesia named Naruto grabbed a photographer's unattended camera and took several selfies that went absolutely viral! The photographer, David Slater, was angered to find out that the photo was placed in the public domain due to the author of them not being human, which is fucking stupid. I'd be like, he took my camera. The monkey took my camera. If there's not another sign from God that this is supposed to be my payday, what the fuck else is there?
You know what my conspiracy is? I think they just did that to fuck mock the guy.
Fuck you, dude. Your stupid ass monkey selfie.
Because everyone's like, there's no way this monkey took the selfie.
Oh yeah, people are like, here, look at it.
Yeah.
Chim Chim, look. And he's like, looking down at it. Yeah, he took it and he did it. He took his own selfie.
My conspiracy is that like he's gonna have to admit the monkey didn't take the picture if he wants to win.
It's public domain because it's a monkey picture. God damn it. Which PETA stepped in with a lawsuit on behalf of Naruto, demanding that all proceeds the viral image makes should be used to improve the monkeys community. Gonna build a nice monkey neighborhood. Look, he's like in the car. He has like a hat and everything.
He's got his headband on.
Shadow jutsu or some shit. In the end, the case was dropped and the court believed that PETA cared less about Naruto's legal rights and more about turning attention to their organization. And regardless, David agreed to donate 25% of all future revenue made from the selfie to go to charities that will protect the habitat in Indonesia. Which is nice, but to be fair, he got strong arm because also you don't want to be the guy who's like, oh yeah, you're the dickhead who that selfie monkey guy. But you don't really care about monkeys, do you? He's like, God damn, dude, fine. 25% though.
He should just gave it to Naruto.
He should have given anything. It's a picture of a monkey. Today's video is sponsored by our partners at Factor. Summertime is here and there is so much to do. No matter what though, you can't skip out on your workouts or your meal prep. It can be tough trying to eat better on a busy schedule, but thankfully, Factor has all that covered for you. Factor has delicious, ready-to-eat meals that are delivered right to your door. And in just 2 minutes, you can heat, eat, and enjoy. Plus, Factor lets you eat the way you want, whether you need calorie smart, keto, protein plus, or even vegan dishes. And if you enjoy the gourmet side of life, you can get fancy ingredients like broccolini, salmon, and truffle butter when you choose Factor's Gourmet Plus meals. With over 35 options to choose from each week, I'm sure you'll find something that you like. Each meal is chef-crafted and dietitian approved, and the best part of Factor is there is no paperwork, no grocery lines, and virtually no cleanup. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50PAPAMeat to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box today. That's code 50PAPAMeat at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring this video. Now back to the episode. PETA would constantly up their ante for their campaigns in order to continue holding on to attention of the public. Because of this, the organization slowly started to become the butt of jokes as their stunts became more and more absurd. For instance, PETA's many video game related stunts. Did you know that PETA did video game stunts, Nick?
Yes, they were after Super Meat Boy.
PETA began focusing their efforts on heinous act of seal clubbing that exists in Canada, which is regulated by the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, which there's nothing fun about seal clubbing.
It's a Canadian pastime.
It is a Canadian pastime, just like baseball is to America, but I do think, dare I say, clubbing a little baby seal is just a little sadder. Would you club a baby seal?
That's where I'm gonna have to agree to disagree.
I could see you clubbing a baby seal, dude. I don't know, his head just looked right for it.
No, I don't want to give fodder to the comments. They're gonna.
In 2009, they announced a protest via World of Warcraft, in which people would band together to kill 4 members of the Horde that were killing baby seals in the Whisper Wind server. Activism. Activist gamers were given detailed instructions on how to join in on the event, which would be taking place at the Howling Fjord. There's no footage of the actual event, so it's unclear whether or not people cared enough to participate. Who cares? Is that a real thing? They actually were like, let's kill people in game. That's them living vicariously. They're like, they wish that they could shoot people in the street.
Oh,
let's
yeah.
take it to the game. The Horde's evil. In another stunt that got much more attention, PETA took shots at Nintendo's upcoming release of Super Mario 3D Land by creating a game called Super Tanuki Skin 2D to criticize the use of the Tanuki suit power-up in the game, because that's what's wrong with the world, is the Tanuki suit from the Mario game. They created their own in which you could play as a skinned raccoon dog. You have to dodge obstacles as you chase after Mario, who is flying above him wearing your blood-soaked fur. Bit more mature rated than I would say the standard Mario game. Has there ever been a rated T game for Mario? Has he always been E?
That's a good question.
I want to see Mario get some pussy, dude. Put him in a T game. He's like, Peach, come here.
And he sniffs his fingers.
Louisa, what'd you think I just did, Louisa?
Mario, no.
Mario. Mario. Come on, Mario.
Stinky Mario.
The scratch and sniff of Louisa. The webpage showcases a brutal video bringing awareness to the cruelty enacted on Tanuki, who are, quote, bludgeoned, hanged, and skinned alive for their fur, which is true, which is sad. But once again, people got to get warm, Nick. All right, good looking fur. What do you think? Would you wear Tanuki fur? It's a Tanuki fur scarf.
I think it'd be disrespectful not to wear it. The animal's dead now.
Kind of dead for no reason if you don't wear it now.
I wouldn't like purchase one, but if someone handed it to me.
Well, I mean, I feel bad if you handed it to me. I'll do whatever you want with it. I'm not gonna buy it. You're just cheap. I wouldn't buy the thing, but if you handed it to me, I'd use it gladly. Surprised at the angry army of Nintendo fans criticizing the stunt, PETA made a statement explaining that it was meant to be tongue-in-cheek. It became big enough that Nintendo even made a statement after being accused of being pro-fur. Nintendo said this. Mario often takes the appearance of certain animals and objects in his games. Different forms that Mario takes make no statement beyond the games themselves. They're like, he's an Italian man in a tube world where he stomps on mushrooms. What are we doing with our time? And PETA did a very similar thing with Cooking Mama by creating a game called Cooking Mama. Mama Kills Animals, which aimed to bring attention to the high number of turkeys being slaughtered every year on Thanksgiving. And in the game, you play as an angry-looking Cooking Mama as you cook a turkey dinner covered in blood and guts. Once completed, Mama has changed her heart and becomes vegan and shows you how to cook tofu turkey. Which, let me tell you, fucking old mama got done doing a full Thanksgiving dinner. You think that bitch isn't eating the bird? Yeah, right, dude. Also, I'll tell you what, aesthetically, nothing better than just a nice looking turkey.
Do you think Cooking Mama's a trad wife?
Cooking Mom's a trad wife, and she sits on it, spits on it, and twists on it. She's a bop it. In 2012, PETA continued criticizing Nintendo by making a game called Pokemon Black and Blue to make a statement about how Pokemon are treated like circus animals. The monsters in the game Pokemon are treated like circus animals. The digital monsters that are not physically real are treated like circus monsters. I digress. Stuffed in tight spaces and released purely to entertain their master at the risk of their own safety. And in the game, you play as Pikachu escaping the trainer and fighting a variety of comically evil humans, like a cleaver-wielding trainer wearing a coat made off Pokemon pelts. The game ends after you beat Ash Ketchum and inspire him to start an organization that spreads the message of compassion towards Pokemon, which is kind of funny.
Please, Ash, we're people too.
Get in the ball! It's like claustrophobic fucking nightmare. Also, I thought that the Pokeball was huge to them.
I don't know.
When they get sucked inside, I thought that it's supposed to be like big.
It's like Capsule Corp technology, I think.
So yeah, they're probably tiny in there. It's like probably a big aloft.
Pikachu hates his Pokeball, though.
Pikachu's also kind of a little dickhead, if you remember. No, I don't want to. I think I'll just walk around with you. Oh, cool. This fucking rat's gonna walk with me everywhere. Thanks, Pikachu. Fuck off. PETA has done far more than create crude flash games to get people's attention. Also, first off, that's a lot of games. How much money do they got to make all these games?
They make them really cheap.
Could you also say, this is the actual question, a human who skins a animal and has done it since the beginning of time because back then you needed it to stay warm and stuff, and now it's become a trade and all that stuff. Is that not just a part of nature as well?
I would argue man is a part of nature. So yes.
Me clearing land and destroying habitats for McDonald's and stuff. That's just a part of nature, PETA. Sorry! Many of their methods are fruitless and silly, like the time they urged the Ben & Jerry's ice cream company to shift to using breast milk instead of cow's milk, which I also want to say this. The Ben & Jerry's dudes, I'm pretty sure they're super progressive. Didn't one of them just get kicked out of like a fucking Senate meeting or something like that?
Yeah.
He was advocating against something?
Yep.
Put up the clip.
Ben, why are you getting arrested?
Move down the hallway. If you stop, you will be
kills
arrested.
poor kids in Gaza by buying bombs and pays for it by kicking kids off Medicaid in the U.S.
Drag the motherfucker away.
Do you agree with the breast milk?
I would, buddy. If Ben & Jerry started using breast milk instead of animal milk, oh man, you see me with a milk mustache every day, Nick. A frozen little milk mustache, little milk icicles coming off that deal. What would be the first breast milk flavor?
Probably vanilla. You want like
No, you need to spice up a little bit. You know what I'm gonna say horchata, first flavor.
okay.
With breast milk.
So that's an odd. I've never heard of horchata ice cream.
Now, it's a first. Why has there never been a fucking horchata ice cream then, man? Because they need breast milk. Unpasteurized breast milk. Also, whoever got milked, what woman got milked, this is a long segment. Whatever woman got milked, I think that her name should be on it. Like, this is Michelle's. The women up in Idaho have good titty milk, dude. Would it be wrong to do a video on testing breast milk? How would we get breast milk?
Oh, you could get it off Craigslist.
You can get breast milk off Craigslist?
Facebook Marketplace.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, PETA, they suck. What? Or like the time PETA created a Super Bowl ad showing how being a vegan will make you last longer in bed. Make your dick harder. The ad, which is now banned, was essentially just 30 minutes of uninterrupted seconds of people overreacting having sex. You can try to play a little bit of it.
My ears would have perked up. Huh?
Yeah, that's what I'd say too. I'm like a wolf. My ears perk up. Moves like these ended up being pretty tame compared to some of the other stunts, like when they compared factory farms to concentration camps. PETA created an exhibition known as Holocaust on your plate in 2003. Each piece, which was placed all over the world, would showcase a harrowing image from the Holocaust juxtaposed with the conditions animals faced at factory farms. They would have a text on a plate that reads something like, "To animals, all people are Nazis." While PETA worked with Jewish groups for this project, many others were furious that they used the death of 6 million Jews to push their animal rights message. And PETA has the tendency to get pushback for their bold and shocking claims they make. Another similar example was the time they claimed cow milk was the symbol of white supremacy. A blog post was posted to their website in 2017 titled, "Why Cow's Milk is the Perfect Drink for White Supremacists." In it, they discussed the similarities between the dairy industry and white supremacists, namely that they both inflict extreme violence on other living beings. That's right, Nick, I'm a white supremacist.
Clip that. Clip that.
Hey, Nick, I had a bowl of white supremacist juice. I used white supremacist juice for my Cocoa Pebbles earlier. The post references scenes from Get Out and Inglourious Basterds, where the symbolism is also used. To continue down this strange and offensive path, let's talk about one of PETA's boldest moves to date, dressing up as the KKK to protest a dog show. Get out of here, dogs. Got that. The Westminster Dog Show is an annual event that brings together purebred dogs from all over the world to compete in a variety of events. I will say it's very cute, even though some of them are genetic abominations. Like my dogs, Tugboat and Crawdad. They should not exist. Genetic anomalies.
Did you see the genetic results from Tugboat?
He's the 100% bass hound.
Well, he's also 18% inbred.
You're telling me my beautiful dog Tugboat is the love child of incest? PETA has long since criticized the practice of breeding dogs, as it greatly discourages shelter dogs from being adopted. To push this message harder, 2 members showed up to the event dressed in Ku Klux Klan outfits. They handed out pamphlets showing the similarities to American Kennel Club and the KKK, focusing on their obsession with pure bloodlines. Of course, many people found this incredibly inappropriate, something PETA was well aware of and clearly utilized to force people to pay attention to them. While most of these campaigns seem to be targeted at adults, there are a few that are focused on influencing younger generations. This was certainly the case with PETA's Unhappy Meal stunt. Right, the Unhappy Meal does kind of go hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a cool collector's item.
That is fucking sick. Ronald with a knife, and is it just a knife in both, or is it a gun?
He's got like a chicken in his other hand.
Ronald with a knife goes hard. If they ever made a statue, now that let me know. I've been collecting McDonald's statues for a while. I need that one, and I will kill an animal for it, and I will drink milk.
Breast milk.
Horchata, Ben & Jerry's. In 2009, PETA wanted to spread the message about the horrible methods McDonald's used to mass slaughter chickens for their products. To raise concern for their harmful practices, they stood outside of McDonald's locations and handed out something they referred to as Unhappy Meals. It was a up version of a Happy Meal, completed with a demented knife-wielding version of Ronald McDonald. It's fucking metal. It's awesome. They were primarily handing them out to children who were horrified after opening the wrapping to find a plastic chicken covered in fake blood. Parents were outraged, and McDonald's made a statement claiming that the cruel conditions that they are referring to are overblown. Not really. They're like, whatever, dude. Like fucking like 6 chickens in like one little cage. You know what I mean? That's why also, I thought back then they used a pink slime and now they use chicken. Remember that? That was like the big thing?
I think they still use pink slime.
I don't think so, because people complained that the chicken nuggets back in the day when it was no meat. Because that was the thing, people were like, what kind of animal is this? And they're like, and it's like fucking like insulation or something like that. It's like horse meat and fucking like bleach and bile.
That's what people think their burgers are made out of now.
Well, now it's beef, but they're like, go back to the pink shit.
There's like a conspiracy on the beef. They're like saying that,
oh, it's horse meat?
well, no, like, it's like, oh,
Spit it out, Nick.
McDonald's made a company called 100% Beef. And that's why when it says made with 100% beef, they can point, be like, we made that company, but it's all made up and people are just spreading bullshit.
Good. Go whatever it was back in the day, go back to that. I don't give, call it 110% real beef for all I give a bring it back, dude. With that said, McDonald's eventually caved in 2017 and stated that they would commit to advancing the welfare of their chickens.
It worked.
Also, it took them, what, 8 years? All right, fine. Pink stuff is too good. People are loving it too much. We'll go back to regular chickens. This wasn't a total victory for PETA, as it appears that the McDonald's supplier had all the way until 2024 to comply with their new standards. And not only that, but it would only apply to 70% of their chicken suppliers. Sorry to that last 30. Yeah, they're like, freedom, better living conditions. And the farmer's just like, not you. And shuts it. Game over. PETA is known to use gruesome imagery and phrases to shock people into listening to what they have to say, but it doesn't stop there. At times, they've even directly harassed their enemies publicly in order to make headlines. The ASPCA, or the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, is surprisingly an enemy of PETA. What? This is mainly due to their endorsements of the Global Animal Partnership Organization, which aims to improve the conditions of animal agriculture. Why that would be an enemy, I'm not sure. Maybe put up a little blurb here. Hope you pause to read it. PETA claims that using labels on the products like Animal Welfare Certified go against the evidence of animal cruelty in the GAP's facilities. The ASPCA refused to take their stamp of approval off of it, claiming PETA has no interest in building a more humane farming system. This angered PETA so much that they brought a truck full of manure to dump on their building's doorstep. They reached their headquarters and raised the dump truck, only to find that the frigid air had frozen the manure to the vehicle, and in a panic, one protester started scraping the frozen manure onto the ground to get a big enough pile. It's kind of funny though, a bunch of frozen turds. The whole process took so long that the police eventually intervened and arrested both the driver and the man trying to shovel the frozen poop. And in the end, only a minuscule amount was only able to be dumped. Wah, wah. But this is nothing compared to the backlash received during some of PETA's biggest controversies. When PETA concocts a gripping headline to shock onlookers, sometimes they resort to straight up misleading people. In 2014, the group released a billboard that read, quote, "Has your child got autism? Learn about the link between autism and dairy products on PETA.org. And I will say the sad face on the got autism thing is it's just like, oh, dang it, I got autism. According to PETA, this was them earnestly trying to alert the public. Of course, their cited research that claimed that autism is linked to the dairy consumption was outdated and not credible enough to advertise so boldly. People are enraged about this irresponsible ad, which only seemed to further the idea that PETA will use scare tactics if it means bringing people over to the animal side. In another instance of misinformation, PETA started heavily protesting and advertising against the wool industry and the shearing of sheep, calling it inhumane. This stance was based on an undercover investigation that led to the release of graphic videos in which sheep were brutally mistreated and killed for production of wool. PETA claimed that there was no way to provide wool ethically, which caused many farmers and wool producers to lash out, and according to them, they picked the most horrific cases and portrayed them as the norm. Many people in the industry claim that they love their animals and invest lots of time and money to make sure people sharing their wool are gentle, going so far to quickly fire people who accidentally injure them in the process more than once. And not only that, but it's considered inhumane not to shear the wool off sheep due to it aiding and regulating their body temperature, among other benefits. You ever see a sheep that just got sheared? You see them run around the field afterwards?
Fucking happy as fuck.
Those motherfuckers love that. They're like, thank God. You took too long this time, bitch. One farmer named Nelson claimed that what PETA said was a gross misrepresentation and was disappointed to find out that their actions ended up causing some wool producers to lose out on partnerships with big brands like Patagonia, which I'm sure for some is like, you know, keeps your business afloat, keeps people that work for you, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the craziest controversy PETA had ever gotten into was regarding their animal shelters. PETA has been criticized for years now regarding the enormous number of animals they've euthanized from their shelters they operate. Those motherfuckers love to kill animals. In 2005, the New York Times blasted them for having 80% of their sheltered animals put down when they could have been adopted by families. 80%! The article continues to lambaste them for making nearly $30 million the previous year, believing that this money is being funneled into aggressive spectacle campaigns pushing veganism rather than being used to help the animals that they supposedly care so much about. It's normal for a shelter to euthanize animals. They can only take care of so many, and depending on how old they are, all that kind of shit. It's sad, but it's just the reality of shit. The issue is that PETA seems to euthanize them at a rate of 3 times higher than the others, doing their best to hide these numbers from the public. In 2011, 713 of their 760 dogs admitted to their shelter were euthanized. 713 out of 760. We have no room. Then why take them? For cats, a staggering 1,198 were put down, and only 5 cats found new homes.
I think part of them were like, it's probably better if they just died.
You don't want to go to the evil people.
Exactly.
Yeah, a place like PETA, you gotta have like a form that you fill out to be like, we trust you with this animal. There's no good human, just die, kitty. Many of them are killed in less than 24 hours from when they arrive. PETA claims that this is just the cruel reality of not having enough homes for the large number of animals that enter their doors. They also claim that their high death rates are because of their willingness to accept animals no matter how poor their condition. This doesn't stack up, especially when other shelters in the same state with the same admission policies are doing a far, far better job. Ingrid Newkirk, the co-founder of PETA, has admitted before that they have put down animals that were perfectly adoptable. Couldn't have been a healthier dog. We put him down. Bye-bye, doggy. Even in 2022, PETA still continues to have shockingly high kill rates. In fact, they have a higher kill rate of euthanasia than all shelters in the entire Commonwealth of Virginia combined. Graphic. We're citing our sources. There you go. Some that are more conspiratorial believe that they are purposely putting down perfectly adoptable pets because they believe it is a necessary evil. Ingrid Newkirk has stated as far back as 1988, saying that, in the end, I think it would be lovely if we stopped the whole notion of pets altogether. So that's what she's saying. That's what you mean. You don't want to be a slave. Just die. It's because of this that people think members of PETA and their shelters would rather prematurely put down animals rather than put them in a potentially non-ideal adoption scenario. To this, people argue that they are elitist and are unfit to be arbiters of who is qualified to take care of an animal. When people think about PETA, there's one story that undoubtedly comes to mind as the most blood-boiling instance in their long, controversial history. In 2014, two PETA employees stole a Chihuahua from the porch of the Zarate family's mobile home. The dog, Maya, was a Christmas gift Wilbur Zarate had given to his daughter, Cynthia, in 2011. They were there after reports of a large number of stray dogs roaming the area. They arrived to transport them to their shelter and mistakenly took Maya as well. Maya was put down that same day, disregarding the typical 5-day grace period that is required by law in Virginia. PETA claimed it to be a tragic mistake, firing the employee responsible. The Zarates were also convinced that they did this on purpose due to their previous stance on humans owning pets. Regardless, a trial was held at which PETA offered them $49,000 on top of a $2,000 donation to an anti-animal cruelty organization in Maya's honor. PETA wanted to avoid any extra bad publicity that would come from this becoming a lengthy court battle. Luckily for them, the Zarates accepted the settlement. Listen, it goes without saying that many of the things PETA is fighting for are completely reasonable things. In the pursuit of animal-derived materials, we have subjected animals to nightmarish conditions. You know, it's just, there is a lot of cruelty out there in the service of living creatures. It's a bummer. PETA has done a lot for animal rights, from the reduction of fur coat productions to bringing awareness to the dangers of animal testing. I mean, there is good stuff. But that being said, PETA is certainly not the most squeaky clean organization out there. On their way to spreading their message, they have harassed many people and potentially done tons of harms to various groups they swore to protect. It's the fact that it's like, you're advocating for so many things. I'm like, oh, I agree. But it's weird too when it feels like you care more about getting your name out there and having a profitable charity organization than actually helping the animals. It's just a bit hypocritical, it feels like, right?
I agree.
And also, I think a lot of this stuff is just showboaty. It's people wanting power, people wanting to like point at you until you're doing the wrong thing. It's just kind of cringe. So you know what I gotta say? Be nice to animals, treat them well. You know, if you do hunt or do something like that, eat your animals. You know, nothing cool about just torturing a animal and killing it. You know what I mean? There are some people that do that though. I don't give a fuck.
Chinese. I just saw a video where
Okay, that's the end of that.